It's a special Saturday bonus edition. Come on in. Let's talk shop. Baseball is back. Happy weekend, Locked On fam.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good morning, good afternoon, happy weekend, happy Saturday. This is Locked On Cubs. I'm your host, Andrew Bellison. Thanks for stopping by on a special bonus edition here on a Saturday. We don't do this very often, but this warrants the special. I mean, baseball is back. We've got some Cubs news. The press is rolling. This is great stuff. So thank you for taking the time this weekend to make Locked On Cubs your first listen. I know you're not normally used to it, but it's good to be with you on a Saturday. Check us out on social media at Chicago Cubs PA, at Locked On Cubs. I've had a blast the last couple days interacting with you guys on social about the upcoming season, the CBA, et cetera, et cetera. Check us out on YouTube as well, at Locked On Cubs YouTube. So what the hell are we doing here on Saturday? So much has happened in the last few days. This is a one and done today. This is going to be a really quick hit. I want to go over the new CBA real quick, what was in it, what the season now means for us fans, getting a late start, et cetera, et cetera. And I want to talk David Ross as well. So real quick, David Ross extended through 2024 yesterday. He will be the Cubs skipper with an option for 2025 as well. We dedicated a show to this back in January on Locked On Cubs. I love this. I've said it before. I love David Ross, the person. I loved him as a player. I love him as a manager. He had nothing to prove in my world coming up here in 2022. I had a feeling this deal was already handshaken on during the lockout, and indeed it was, as it was announced as soon as the lockout had ended. And we kind of called that, back in January. So happy for David. Sent him a little message last night, and he is super pumped to be in the reins now through at least 2024. He's the right guy for the job. Listen, I think that he has nothing to prove this year, but he's going to have the tools to win. So there will be some expectation, which is a good thing. You don't think he wants that? Of course he wants that. So David Ross, congrats on the extension. So pumped as a Cubs fan to see you in the dugout leading the show here for a couple of more years. So continuing on, the CBA finally, after a 3-month lockout, has been agreed upon. Both sides walk away, as we see it, happy. What does this all mean for the season for us fans? This is what I wanted to dig into because it's been just such a whirlwind. We needed to touch base and talk. So let's rewind a couple of days. March 10th. Bob Nightingale reports that 16 teams will play opening day of the regular season on April 7th, while 14 will have theirs on April 8th. So April 7th, April 8th, opening day 2022 for real. First game on the schedule, first regular season game on the 2022 schedule will be a Red Sox-Yankees clash at Yankee Stadium. Go figure, right? Cubs opener, Thursday, April 7th, 1:20, Milwaukee Brewers, Wrigley Field. Game, set, match. 4-game series against the Brewers to open things up at Wrigley. That's good stuff. 4 120 games, too, which is awesome. I mean, that is sensational. Spring training. What about spring training? Well, we're on accelerated mode now, right? We're seeing the offseason where we left off pick up kind of feverishly here, and I think we'll see that more over the next couple of days. Game 1 for the Cubs, spring training-wise, is a split squad affair. It's March 18th, so coming up here next week. One half of the squad playing the White Sox, other half of the squad playing the Guardians. 13 spring games total for the Cubs on the 2022 docket. 8 are going to be at Sloan Park. This includes the split squad action. So 13 total games, 8 at Sloan. First game, split squad, White Sox, Guardians, March 18th. A lot of players in camp already, as I'm sure you've seen on social media. Sunday is the mandatory reporting date. So Before we dig into briefly what happened with the CBA, what's in there, what was agreed upon, want to take 1 second quickly to remind you that Built Bar is the key to keeping your New Year's resolution. A lot of times by this point in the year, you've thrown them out the window. If you've incorporated Built Bar in your daily routine, however, it makes it so much easier, and you know this, to eat right. They're loaded with protein, they're low sugar, they're low calorie, low net carbs, and they taste phenomenal. Have you had some of these flavors? Mint brownie, coconut almond, new for this month, white chocolate cookies and cream. It's like a treat, but it's good for you at the same time. If you haven't checked them out, do it. Go to built.com, use our promo code. It's LOCKED15. You're going to get 15% off your order at built.com using the promo code LOCKED15. I promise you, you're going to love them. It's that time of year again. It's college basketball tourney time. It's upon us. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, betonline.net is the number one source for all of your sports needs and information. BetOnline remains the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news all season long. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline has everything you need. They're your continued source for all your sports wagering information needs, including live betting and even your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action that they offer. BetOnline, where the game starts. So you ask yourself, there's information coming from everywhere over the last several months. We had no talks for weeks, and then we had talks, and we had both sides arguing over this and that. What went into the CBA? Well, without getting super deep into the nitty gritty, because let's be honest, I mean, there are some things that none of us might really wrap our heads around fully. And it's Saturday. We don't want to hurt your head on a weekend. The major issues were essentially overcome. Number one, the league minimum pay was raised. So great news. Number two, the competitive balance tax thresholds were raised. This almost now acts as like a salary cap for Major League Baseball in essence, more or less. There are steeper penalties as well for breaking those thresholds if teams do blow by them. Number four, there's a draft lottery for all 18 non-playoff teams. This was put in place to try to combat the tanking issue that we've seen as being a problem over the last several years in Major League Baseball. The Players Association is going to continue to review an international draft possibility. So that will be delayed in terms of decision-wise and evaluation till middle of summer, July. Number six, can only option a player now to AAA 5 times during a season. There was before it was just a free-for-all. How about Lewis Head last year with the Rays? Went down and back 12 times. That's insane. 5-time limit now for optioning. Universal designated hitter across both leagues, which we discussed. As for the playoffs, here's the deal with the playoffs. 3-division format will continue with its impact slightly altered. Each league's top 2 division winners by winning percentage will have a bye in the first round, with the worst division champion taking on the league's 6th finisher and the other 2 wild card finishers. Due to the expansion of the playoff schedule, there will be no more Game 163 tiebreakers, with the league opting to use tiebreaker formulas to determine a winner instead. Additionally, reseeding will not occur between the wild card round and the LDS. So they'll change there to the playoff format as well. This is all part of what was discussed over the last week. The news that we had or didn't have, what was coming out of Jupiter, then back in New York. So happy that both sides were able to hash this out. Players are in camp. Spring is rolling like we expected it to back in December when all this started. Better late than never. I hope you're happy that we got to this point. Again, David Ross locked up as Cubs skipper through 2024, new CBA. Last little nugget for today's Saturday bonus episode, single game Cubs tickets on sale next Friday. So if you want to get to Wrigley, don't have a season ticket package, next Friday's your opportunity to buy Cubs tickets single game wise anyways. First episode of next week, it's the Andrelton Simmons episode. Did you catch that? Cubs made a deal with the free agent shortstop, defensive wizard, A lot of chatter on social which has been a lot of fun, that he can't hit, yada, yada, yada. He's a great shortstop. It has also been reported that because Simmons was brought in, this does not mean the Cubs are out on Carlos Correa. As a matter of fact, we've heard what could be the complete opposite. So stay tuned for the rest of the weekend to Locked On Cubs at Chicago Cubs PA, at Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, for all of your Cubs free agency news. But in-depth look at Andrelton, the Cubs' newest middle infielder, coming up here this week, which is big because we talked about shoring up the leather up the middle with Stroman and Hendricks and Miley, these ground ball guys. That is a great start, like what they did there. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Rejoice in baseball being back. We'll talk to you early this week. Stay in tune with us on social for any updates and news out of Cub world. Happy Saturday to you. Adios. Go celebrate. We'll see you soon.